Hello everybody out there in this beautiful white big world. Welcome to my channel Sewing Made Easy. My name is Lilo Siegel and I love to give tips and hints all around the theme sewing. So today's video will be a drawing of a pattern. So you can make a waistcoat exactly fitting to your measurements. You can see it right here now, what it might look like when you're going to do it for yourself. It is a classical single-breasted waistcoat. I added some welt pockets into this particular one, but I can show you just as well just where you can put the pockets if you want to add some to it. Of course, you can make any waistcoat also totally without pockets. It is a classical gents waistcoat, but that does not mean that you're if you're a lady and you say, I like to make myself a waistcoat. You can use exactly the same way of drawing this particular pattern for yourself. The only thing you might have to do if you want it tight on the body, that you will make the darts a little bit deeper for yourself, and you might want to add a bust dart into it. All that you can do. But if you want it just to fall real easy like the men's waistcoat, you can do it exactly as I show you right here in this video. Now what do you need? Of course you need all the materials like paper, pencils, rulers and so on, that you know anyway. But what's the most important thing? You need 4 measurements of the body where the waistcoat should be for. Out of those 4 measurements, we will calculate all the measurements we need to do the correct drawing. So, in case if you want to do this waistcoat, then come along, follow me, and I will explain all about it exactly to you as it's got to be done.
So first of all, let's have a look at the measurements you will have to take and which calculations you need to do this single-breasted waistcoat pattern. You need the body height, you need the bust size, the waist size and the color size. From those 4 measurements we will calculate everything we need to do the pattern. Now please do not go by my measurements here, because I only put them in so it's easier for you to check your calculations if they're correct. So this is only my example, the way I've done the waistcoat. For the back height, the measurement you need, please take 1/16 of your body height plus 1/8 of your bust size. For your back length, just take 1/4 of your body height. For the back width, you take 2/10 of the bust size. The bust size calculations, please take 2/10 of the bust size and add 1.5 centimeter. For your neck lapel width, take 1/6 of your color size and add 1 centimeter. And you will see as an example, I got 8 centimeters here. You will probably have something very similar on all your measurements if you're a grown-up person. But we continue. For the armhole diameter, please take 1/8 of your bust size, and for your armhole depth, take the measurement you worked out from the back height, which is in my case 24.5, and add 1.5 centimeter, and you will have the last calculated measurement that you will need. If you've done all that, we can start the drawing of the pattern. In the info box underneath, I will again write all this in so you can print it out or follow it maybe also easy there if you wish. With other words, now we do start the pattern. For the pattern making, we're starting in the middle back from the waistcoat. That means please draw yourself a long line and make right away a right angle for the helping line for the shoulder part, while this is the help line for the middle in the back. Now measure first of all your back height from this corner down and draw a right angle across. Now you measure the back length and again you make a right angled line across. This is your official length, but we got to have the waistcoat a little bit longer, so please add 9 centimeters again from this point and make a very short little line across in the right angle again. Now go again on the top here and now take your measurement that we worked out for the neck width, which was 8 centimeters, and draw the 8 centimeters across there. Now take your measurement from the breast height and exactly measure it in half. On the back length, you measure 2.5 centimeters across and as well 2.5 centimeters on that bottom line you made. Now join these last made 3 points together, as this is your new back middle seam. This was only a helping line, but now we shaped it already towards the waist and towards the bottom. Now you need a ruler with some degrees on, and you put this in a right angle on your back line and make a mark on 17 degrees. Connect these 2 points from your corner to that one and now draw in a right angle from that line upwards, as that is already one of your shoulder points. While here you can right away now make a little curve for drawing your neckline out. When you draw the neckline, make sure in this position for the middle in your back you have a right ankle left. That is very important. Next you will need your back width. In my case I got 22 centimeters. You mark the 22 centimeters from your new middle back, 22 centimeters across, and again from here we draw a right angle towards the top. To continue with the shoulder, you now measure from this point 2 centimeters down and connect this point with your new point up here, and again now measure 2 centimeters from this point inward. This is the actual length of your shoulder. So when I measure this, because you will need that measurement later, so you might as well measure it right away, I got 13.5 centimeters shoulder length. I just put that down here. So you see, this is my shoulder length of 13.5 centimeters. Now we want to make the armhole. Therefore, you look at your armhole diameter. That measurement that you will have there, take it minus 4 centimeters. So I will have 9.75, which I will mark from this point across, 9.75, and I make a new mark. And again I need to make a right angle, this time downwards, all the way more or less even with that one, approximately from this corner, again 2 centimeters down. And it's time already to draw the armhole. Look for a ruler that you think is very well fitting, or draw it by hand a little bit first before you really fully put it in position how you wish. Now you see already, this is your neckline, this is your shoulder, this is your armhole. Now you remember we added 9 centimeters from the length to the bottom of the waistcoat. Now on this side we will only add 8 centimeters. That means I've done it a little bit too short, so I make a drawing there. And now I make this by 1 centimeter wider. Don't wonder about my ruler here. I'm doing this in a size 1/2, otherwise it's difficult for you to see it all. And from this point on I will now connect these 2 lines, because that is my side and it's going towards the hip slightly outwards. That is the idea. Now you measure from your new point here to that point exactly into half and make a mark. The bottom you will now connect from this point, your 9 centimeter point that we put inward, with a new one on that corner here. You see it's going slightly upwards, but this is meant to be like that. This is correct. Again, we need a right angle ruler, and I will go exactly through that point, but now I'm not going in a right angle with this line. I got to be in a right angle with the bottom. So I'm looking for this point, but I'm in a right angle here with this new drawn button. You can see here it's slightly running out, and you make a mark all the way to the bust line. From the top down on the bust line, you mark 4 centimeters, and from this point upwards you mark 2 centimeters. This will be the length of your dart, and this will be the middle of the dart, and we want it to be altogether 3 centimeters. That means 1.5 on each side. That means I draw 1.5 here and 1.5 here, and now I connect these points to there and this point there. Now you see the dart, and now you got the line down there. From that point again you finished drawing the dart to the bottom. And as I said before, this will be your right ankle, not there, because we did a slight upward seam here on the bottom now. Again, you need a little ruler with an ankle on, because now we want to make a little dart here, which we later will close in while opening this one farther. The armhole will fit much nicer and better. Therefore, go with your ruler along your line until you see there is somewhere an area where you more or less here in a right ankle, and it hits your point there. Now you see I got a little right ankle here, and that is exactly where I will make a mark. And I want to do this dart approximately 1.5 centimeters. That means 0.7 I draw it to this side and 0.7 to that side. And as I mentioned before, I show you later when we cut this open to overlap it, and we cut this one open and this one opens slightly up, then this armhole lies much better on the body when this is slightly been taken in. That is the reason. So more or less our back is finished. Of course you can then, when you start really working it out, you can slightly even out all these bits that are at the moment totally straight drawn, slightly make them round everywhere, so you see this back will fit perfectly for you. Now we have to extend some lines. This is very easy because these 2 lines got to be extended. So just draw them across however long you want. You can make them longer, or if they're a bit too long it doesn't matter either, it won't be in your way. And you remember when we did this measurement here, which was the 13.5 from the armhole diameter, we took 4 centimeters off. These 4 centimeters we will now add from here to there, because we need them. We cannot just take some measurements away and not add them somewhere else. This is needed on this side, so I make my mark on 4 centimeters right there. And you know already what we got to do now. We need a right ankle line all the way across that new 4 centimeter mark we did there, upwards towards the shoulder part, and all the way down more or less to our seam. Now, as you know, this is our bust line, and we want to continue with it because now we take the worked out bust width measurement that we got here, where we added the 1.5 centimeters to 2/10 of the bust size. My case, I got 23.5, which I measure from this point on, 23.5, and you of course will take your measurements that you took for your waistcoat. And again, we want to draw a right ankle, but this time only downwards, not upwards. That is not necessary. Make sure you keep in line always. Rather move your rulers again when you think you're not quite sure what it is and where you are. And again, you got a little square here already, so we continue. So in this little square now, again on this width we halve it exactly, which is here in my case, exactly half that length. And we want another right ankle line. This time we go up and we go down again. I'm going about on the same height as I'm here, and I go here to the body length. Now this line I had a little bit too short, as you can see, so I just extend that all the way to there, because that is already my helping line for my shoulder for the front. And now we need the measurement from the neck width again, which is 8 centimeters. We go on this line Draw 8 centimeters down. Make a little right angle to your right. And now take this neck lapel width from 8 centimeters and add another 2, which gives me 10. And exactly there on 10 I make another mark, which is, when you measure this, quite a bit shorter, because this is already my front that goes from the top slightly wider to the middle, to the bust and to the front. You see, it's quite sideways there. And now you got these 2 points to draw your neckline. Again, look for a nice curve that fits well. And it's always good if you got here a little right angle happening. So that is your front neck. From your helping line that you got in the front here now, take 3.5 centimeters, measuring from this line downwards, make a mark. Now you remember we said our back shoulder is 13.5. Take 1 centimeter off, because the shoulder in the back has got to be slightly longer than the front, which means I want 12.5 centimeter now here from the front, measured from this point going over my new mark right there. And I connect them, because now already I can draw my front armhole, which goes slightly inwards here. You can say approximately on 1/3 of this part from here, measured 1/3 approximately. You measure about 1 centimeter inward, and now connect this in a nice curve all the way there to your shoulder point. This is too steep for me, but I can see that this first part fits very well, so I'm using that. It's always not so easy and so exact by finding the right curve. That's why I like to draw a little bit behind always first before I continue, and I keep on trying, and also sometimes I do just little bits first until I see this is the curve how I want to do my armhole sleeve. And you can see here I also do it by hand, because not every curve fits correctly. Now you can see already your full armhole right here. Now we like to finish first of all the side seam from the front. So please go to this line down here and add 2.5 centimeters to draw your new side seam. And now we're going to make this one again a centimeter shorter as the back, because I want to do a little opening here on the side seam, and I want the front to be 1 centimeter shorter than the back. Of course you can do it if you wish on the same length, but I'm showing you how this is easily possible. So from this point I will now measure 7 centimeters down here until I hit my line right there. You remember here we had 9, there we had 8, and now I do 7. So I'll mark it there for me, just visible, and there is my centimeter that my front will be shorter than the back. Don't forget, this will be cut out later. This is your side seam from the back, and this is the side seam from the front. They go slightly in the waist tighter, and there it goes wider again towards the hip. Now go to your bust line and add 1.5 centimeters on the bust line and on the length of your jacket, and connect them with each other. And you can go a bit farther down anyway, because the front is sloping downwards later. And now we got to do a little trick here to get the right form from the waistcoat's front. Go on the shoulder, this is only a helping line, 1.5 centimeters inwards, and half your line that you got here. From this new half made, I measured from here to here onto half, and connect this point with that one. Up here you can only scribble it, there you can go close, because this is the line where you have to go up first straight before you can do a slight bend right there to go back to your shoulder. Again, look for the right tool to get the right curve in the right position. See here I'm running in flat, while here I go exactly in my shoulder corner, because that is my new line, slightly bent. This was only a helping line. All these lines are only helping lines, don't forget that. So that is your front or your lapel, in case if you want to add a lapel to it. which we don't do at the moment with this waistcoat. I only like to mention it so you know you can change this at any time. Alright, we got to continue with the bottom, and we measure 10 centimeters now down and another 7. So we got to look here, am I long enough for my 10 centimeters, which are here, and the 7 I actually need on this line, on my first helping line. So we had 10 here anyway, so I take 17 from here now and draw my line onto 17, and I make a mark. We need a little right angle again here on 2.5 centimeters, and now connect those two with each other and connect your point here to that one, because that gives you this lovely slope of your waistcoat in the front, as you can see right here now. We continue as we got to make the darts and the pockets on the front now. Measure 3 centimeters from your helping line towards the right, the same there, and connect them only with a slight helping line, while to your left you measure 2 centimeters. Make 2 marks in different positions on that line towards the left. It doesn't matter exactly where you do it. And now from the bust line down all the way to the seam, draw a line. You remember from that dart we measured 4 centimeters down? Well, we do exactly the same here now, because this line is our dart line. So 4 centimeters down will be here, and 2 centimeters up from that line, exactly what we did in the back actually. We make a mark again. This is the end, the top of our dart. And this is quite a small dart that we're doing here. So measure on your new point here 0.75 centimeters to the left and 0.57 to the right. Do exactly the same on the bottom, and now connect and draw a dart. Again to that mark you've done there on the height, because there it goes smaller and smaller, while this is the same continuation on the 0.75 on each side, which makes the dart about 1.5 centimeter here in the middle altogether. So now it comes for drawing the pockets that you might like to put in. So on your line here, go 1 centimeter down here and go 1 centimeter up here. Draw yourself a little helping line, and this mark that we did earlier on here will be the mark for the end of our pockets. That's why we did this. And here we're going to draw for the left side now the pocket for the bust. Therefore, in a right angle, take your old helping line, not the new one, because the pocket is not supposed to run this way. It's supposed to run up together with the right angles that we've been drawing. So you see, that is my front line. I make a mark here. Now on my helping line I go 9 centimeters across, because that will be the length of my pocket. Again, I take this straight line to draw it up here, and now I can connect where my helping line was, this for the pocket, and I want it 2 centimeters in the height, so I draw it exactly in the width as I want my little bust pocket to be, right there. One more pocket we got to do, and that is on the bottom. Of course, you can always do a waistcoat totally without a pocket. I got a normal welt pocket here. You can make a double welt pocket, or you can stitch some pockets right on top of it, as you wish. Now look at this line and make a mark on 1.5 centimeter, only slightly there, because from this point on again, as we said, this is our line for to start the pockets. Draw yourself right away the length of the pocket, which should be between 11 and 12 centimeters. Then you can see that's why I didn't mark this one. I would have been running over, far running over, because so big I don't want that pocket to be. So I make it 12 centimeters long now, looking for my dart, and I draw it right there. That's it. And I go right away approximately here. I want it on 2 centimeters. And again here I got to go from this line to make the right angle from there to draw my pockets in. That's how it's got to look. And that is totally my finished drawing for this waistcoat. Now let me cut it out and show you what it looks like when I close this dart so it jumps over in that position. Now when you cut it out, think about it. Which kind of seam allowances do you want? Because on none of this drawing is any seam allowances on. So that's what you must consider, and that's very important, as you know. So here we go. This is your pattern. Your 2 pockets in the front. The dart you will have to sew. Don't forget, there is no seam allowances anywhere on this. Here I want to have this little opening on the side. That's why you can see it is a little bit shorter right here on the side in the front. And I cut open now my darts right here, and I show you what happens. This is the dart you will actually be sewing. And when you cut your pattern open, not the material, the pattern, and just overlap these 1.5 centimeters that we took out here, you will see your dart will open up much farther. Of course, you will still sew in this width. That stays the same. You're not stitching there then. You're stitching where you did your drawing, and that's how you got to mark it for your pattern, for your sewing, for your material. Don't forget that. And that gives it a beautiful fit for that waistcoat, and especially for the armhole. The armhole will not be bubbly in the back. If you see somebody walking around with a waistcoat, you can sometimes in the back see this big bubble there on the back, and it doesn't look nice. And with doing this, it will lie perfectly flat. Well, everybody out there in this world, I hope I could give you a real nice tip, and I could show you how easy it is if you take a little bit of time, if you concentrate, and you can make for your size, for anybody's size, this kind of waistcoat. I say thank you for watching. Please give me some comments. Let me know from which part in the world you've been watching me, as I always like to read these comments. And I hope you have a good time. Stay healthy and take care. Goodbye.